Okay, so we start learning a new book in the Rambam, the laws of Shabbos. So there are 4 mitzvahs in the Torah that speak about Shabbos. First mitzvah is not to do any work on Shabbos. There are 39 malachas, 39 things that we can't do on Shabbos. All those things that you did in the Mishkan, you can't do on Shabbos. It says in the Torah, you have to build a Mishkan, but not on Shabbos. So we know that anything they did in Mishkan, you are not allowed to do on Shabbos. These are 39 things. For example, painting. They painted to build a Mishkan. To cut wood, they did that. To cut bricks, they did that too. So there's 39, it's called 39 malachas, 39 things we can't do on Shabbos. Everything we can't do on Shabbos are an offshoot of these 39 things. Then there are things which the rabbis decreed that you must not do on Shabbos. Why? Because either it looks like a malacha, it's similar to a malacha, could bring to a malacha. So there's many laws, specifically Shabbos, because it's such a day today. It's a normal Jewish thing that all Jews do. So there's many decrees they made specifically regarding Shabbos. I think the most decrees they made on one mitzvah is to keep Shabbos.
Like Yiddish, right?
Like muksa. Carrying is a malacha, but muksa, carrying it depends where. You're right. Carrying or muksa is totally the rabbi's decree. There were 39 basic things which you're not allowed to do on Shabbos.
Torah,
That's from the Torah. According to the Torah, holding the phone is totally fine. Using the phone is a different discussion, but holding the phone according to the Torah is fine. But there are many things which you can't do on Shabbos in the Torah, which many people unfortunately do. For example, ripping. I used to learn by the Rebbe's gravesite, and there were always people coming on Shabbos and ripping their notes. You're not allowed to do, right? So of course I'm not gonna tell. I didn't feel like comfortable because they drove there also, right? They're not people that keep Shabbos, so I didn't mix into their business. But there's many things.
What about
Whipping is Midrasa. What do you mean? Why not? If you okay, so maybe you're right about that. For example, writing on Shabbos for sure is Deraisa.
toilet paper?
Toilet paper if it's on the lines. Toilet paper is on the lines. Okay, so now, what happens if you need to go for a walk and you want to go for a walk and there's ants all over, there's bugs all over? You're allowed to. You're allowed to walk on them. Why? Because even though killing an animal is in the Torah, you're not allowed to kill animals because they used to kill animals for the Mishkan. They use their fur, their leather for the Mishkan. So it's in the Torah, you're not allowed to kill animals on Shabbos. On Yom Tov, you're allowed to. Shabbos,
Only if it can kill you. Right?
Yes, if it's dangerous, you're allowed to do anything. But if you're not allowed to kill an animal on Shabbos. However, if you need to go for a walk and there's ants all over, or you want to open the door and you might squeeze a mosquito. So the rule is like this: anything which you're not allowed, anything which is no way of you getting out of it, you're not allowed to do. So for example, if you need to flush the toilet and you see a bunch of bugs over there, so if you're going to flush the toilet, obviously they're going to die, right? And then you're not allowed to flush the toilet. I don't know what you're going to do. Make sure no bugs come into your toilet. Don't live in Florida. However, if you're living in a place, maybe if you walk on the grass, there's gonna be a spider there.
What is what do you
any
malacha? If it can bite you and kill you.
So if it's gonna kill you,
but how do you know?
How do you know? So if it's a very small chance, if it's very small chance, we don't say. If it is a reasonable,
kill it, blood is stuck in your blood.
You're not allowed to kill a mosquito on
Shabbos. So what do you do with it?
You can shoot away. I gotta say, this past Shabbos, I saw a mosquito, so I tried to shoot away. I tried to hit it. Thank God it did not die. It was close. It was a close shot. I really felt bad that I should have held myself in. What's gonna mosquito bite gonna do to you? What are you gonna do? You gonna die? No. So in a case that you're living in Africa and there's deadly mosquitoes, obviously you gotta kill the mosquito.
I want a mosquito. I don't know.
Maybe. So maybe. No, obviously, if it's a 1 in a million, a trillion chance, right? It's a different story, right? If we're talking about a reasonable case, for example, a woman giving birth to a child, if there's thousands of a chance that the lady could die, then we do anything possible, whatever it is, even if it's on Shabbos, you don't care. It's as if it's a weekday. Now, technically, let's say what is the number? If we don't do anything on Shabbos, if it's the second or third day of the birth, let's say 1 out of a few thousand women are going to die. We don't care, right? If there's one chance in a few thousand, we consider it pikuach nefesh. But if it's 1 in a million, then we don't care. Okay, I don't know there's no exact number, but the concept is if it's okay. So again, if there's something which for sure is going to happen a malacha, for example, if there's for sure ants in front of you on the sidewalk, don't step on it. But if you don't know, right? If you might step on it, you could maybe not kill one, you may walk around it. That's totally fine. So you don't need to be looking at the floor, making sure you don't step on ants, right? So if it's not on purpose, it's fine. You don't look, and it's fine.
How about walking on the grass?
Walking on the grass is totally fine, even if you might rip up grass, because it's not your intention and it doesn't have to happen. So the example in the Talmud.
Can you pee on the grass when it's raining on Shabbat?
We didn't get there yet. So
No.
So now one thing.
On Shabbat.
The example it says in the Talmud for something which is impossible to go around is if you want to play with the head of a chicken. It used to be in the olden days, didn't have toys. They used to take the chicken, cut the head off. They would never use it for eating, right? So they used to give it to the baby as a toy, a chicken head. So now, what happens if your child's crying on Shabbos? Are you allowed to cut the chicken head off? Because you don't want to kill the chicken. You just want the head. Obviously, there's no way to get the head of a chicken without killing it. That's the example. So it doesn't mean you have to look at the floor when you're walking. As long as you don't have a flat out intention to do a malacha, it is fine. So anything you're doing that might do a malacha, that's fine. However, if you say, I don't want to do the malacha, right? Let's say you want to, what's the example the Rambam says? You want to put out the fire, but not because you want to put the fire out. You want the oil. We don't care. As long as you have intention to do a malacha, it's not allowed. If you have intention to do something else, and by accident maybe it's going to happen, that's fine. What happens if you do a malacha, you do something you're not doing on Shabbos, but you really had in mind to do something else? So then you're not chayiv, which means chayiv means that you would get cut off from Hashem. Right? Remember, we explained there's a rope that connects every Jew to Hashem. Every soul has a rope. He used to be part of Hashem. And you come into this earth in a body, but it's still connected by a rope. There's 613 strings to the rope. Each mitzvah is a string. So some mitzvahs are so important, it's like cutting the rope. Shabbos is one of them. One of the most important mitzvahs is Shabbos, which means there's a holiness which is on your body during the whole Shabbos. Is a special soul that comes into your body. If you do a malacha, if you desecrate the Shabbos, you're sort of embarrassing this special soul, this new godly light around your body, and you're sort of kicking yourself away from Hashem, so you're cutting the rope. That's called karet.
Or beard.
What?
Or beard.
Or?
Beard.
Beard, yes. So now, the question is, what happens if I didn't have in mind to do this? I had in mind to do something else, but actually I did this. For example, you threw an arrow, this is the times of the Rambam, you threw an arrow to kill your friend, which you're not allowed to do on Shabbat, you're not allowed to do anytime. But you didn't get your friend, you by accident ripped off a branch of a tree, which you're also not allowed to do on Shabbat. Then you're fine. You have to have in mind to do the malacha to get cards. So this guy, he tried to kill his friend, but he's still connected to Hashem because he actually didn't kill him. He didn't die. And the malacha was not on purpose. Then it's for sure your cards, right?
And if you kill someone else instead of whatever.
What?
If you kill someone else by mistake.
But no, that's considered. If you had in mind to kill somebody, you kill someone else. It's the same thing. It's killing somebody. For example, let's say
you want to kill
what happens.
Guy
what happens? It's the same thing. Let's say you want to turn off this light, you turn off that light. You want to put off this candle, that candle. It's the same thing. It's the same thing because however, if you want to kill someone and then you did this, it's a different thing. You put on a candle. They're two different things. If you started to do something, every single block of the 39, there's a shear. There's a certain amount which you have to do. For example, writing. You have to write 2 letters. As soon as you write 2 letters, you can add a mind to write a whole page. It doesn't make a difference. We consider it a malacha. You're chayav.
Sorry, I missed.
Once you do every single of the 39 malachas, there's a shear. There's a certain amount you have to do. For example, if you want to carry outside, right? So carrying from inside to outside, if it's a Rosh Hashanah, you're a chayav. But how much? So if you carry it at 1 seat, it's not considered. It's not considered.
Even the needle I can carry. No?
Everything is there's a certain amount. It could be a needle, you're not allowed to. Every single, there's a certain amount. We're going to learn this later. 1 letter, you're not chayav. You have to write 2 letters. So there's laws for each malacha how much you have to do. Right. Now let's say 2 people.
I can write 1 letter?
You're not allowed to write it, but you're not chayav. You're not chayav kares if you write 1.
Okay.
Let's say you wanted to carry, but 2 people carried together a needle. So who's chayav? None of them. Because no one actually did it. Each one did it, so no one really did it. You can't put the blame on one person. However, if it's a massive board that only 2 people could carry, then both are chayav, because both of them are equally.
What about
4 people? Then again, it's not chayav.
What about can you carry 4 arms?
What?
Anything.
You're not less than 4 amas, yes.
If I need it.
Less than 6 feet, you're allowed to, but only if it was outside to begin with. Or you can't pick from inside to outside. Doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make a difference. No. There's a special laws regarding a karmelis. Okay, karmelis is something which is not a Rosh Hashanah, which means a place where it's not a busy street, but it's not indoors. It's not in a gate. That's what a karmelis. So we're lenient with a guy, or there's different cases we're lenient. Maybe for a mitzvah, you can give it to a guy, for example. Maybe even for a mitzvah, sometimes you can even carry yourself. Let's say you're walking, let's say you have a lot of money. It's called the hefsin merubah. Then we're more lenient, and you're allowed to walk, maybe run. We'll get into it later, all the laws. What happens, somebody?
If you find the gold.
What happens if your baby helps you? What happens if your baby, you can't pick it up? If you find something on Shabbos in the street, you cannot pick it up.
If you can carry. If you can carry.
You can hide it, why not? If you're nothing wrong. If you can't carry, nope. I don't think you're allowed to.
Still no?
I don't think so. You can kick it if you want. Anything that you can't carry, you can kick. You can't pick up with your hands. You can pick up with your mouth.
Golden ring.
Golden ring, you can pick up with your mouth. Okay, so now the question is, what happens if your baby helps you take a table outside? So now it's 2 people. So your baby or whoever's weak, that's not a problem. He's only helping. The person that's able to do it by himself, he's the one that is chayav. 2 weak people, then it's fine. Then they're both pater. That's not fine, but they're both pater. What happens if somebody does it on purpose? So not only, and there's 2 witnesses. Then there's a certain punishment in the Torah, which hardly ever happens, but it's a punishment called skila. Skila is they push the guy. If there's 2 witnesses in the whole process, they push him off a cliff, and they stone him.
From 5th hour.
Huh?
From 5th hour.
But that's
nowadays.
No. Now if that's only if he did the whole thing on purpose. But if he did 1 drop by mistake, then he of course does not get it. However, he can either bring a carbon. I think you can only bring a carbon if the whole thing was by mistake. Yes. Only if the whole thing was by mistake 100%, and 1 drop was not by mistake, then you have to bring a carbon. If 1 drop was on purpose, for example, let's say you knew a certain part of it you're not allowed to do on Shabbos. Let's say you cut up, I can't think of an example. So if you do a part of it on purpose and a part by mistake, then you're not chayav a carbon. Then you can't bring a carbon. There's no way of fixing it. If it was 100% by mistake, like you forgot it was Shabbos, so you had no idea that turning on the fire is you're not allowed to do, then you can bring a carbon, and that fixes it for you. So therefore, when Mashiach comes, people are going to bring many, many cows or many sheep to the Beis Hamikdash, because if you know it's Shabbos, then you have to bring a carbon for all the 39 malachas, every single. So 30, let's say you did all 39 every Shabbos, it's very hard. So let's say you did 10, 20, so you have to bring 10 for every Shabbos. So if there's 50 Shabbos a year, right? and then there's hundreds to your life. So you have to have thousands. You have to have a farm just to bring your karbanis. Okay, we're almost done. If someone destroyed him, yeah, he's saying, oh, the Kohen's got to eat all the meat. What now? If you destroy on Shabbos, it's pater. So if you are for some reason destroying things, that's fine. But if you destroy out of anger, like you want to hurt your friend, you're destroying. Or even if you're destroying, you're out of anger, then it's sort of therapeutic. Your Yitzhahara, your evil inclination, is enjoying itself. That's so it itself is considered not destroying. For example, you can go and you can pay to destroy. They have these rooms that they give you pay $100, $200. You go and you smash everything in this. Never heard of this? It's a new business. Okay, so if you do that on Shabbos, that's a malacha because that's an experience. It's not destroying. But if you're destroying, the Rambam says it's pater over here. Why did the Rambam say it's pater? I'm going to look at this because the Rambam says hurting your friend, you're pater. So, for example, if you need dirt on Shabbos, if you need dirt on Shabbos, and you make a hole outside in your backyard, so that's pater. You're not allowed to make a hole on Shabbos, but because you don't have in mind to make a hole, so you're ruining your backyard. If you wanted to make a hole to put a plant, so then you're chayav.
Why do you need on Shabbos? Why would you?
Let's say you're playing arts and crafts with your child in the backyard, and you want to have dirt to play a game. I don't know, or you want to whatever it is. So if you're destroying your backyard, which means you have to now fix it up.
But stone.
So then you're pater,
right?
What?
Any stone.
It's muksa, but it's not chayiv. The word chayiv means someone's chayiv means he's chayiv kares. He gets cut off. He has to bring a korban if it was a mistake. He's chayiv skill if there's witnesses, right? Then there's something called pater, which means it's not from the Torah. You're fine, right? Or at least you're not. You don't. If it's a mistake or you only did half, it's called you're pater. What? Muksa is not from the Torah. It's usher. Muksa is usher, but it's not chayiv.
You take the dirt and the small stone.
So it's muksa. I'm not saying you're allowed to do it, but you're pater. Since you're not chayiv kares, you don't get cut off. It's a suffix. It's a suffix. So of course you're not chayiv. Of course not. Okay. The Alter Rebbe says that Shabbos is a day of rest, but not doing malacha is only a very external part. The main part of Shabbos is the mental rest, the rest from in your business, in your head. You should not think about business. You shouldn't talk about business. Obviously, it actually says this in the Torah, but also you have to connect to Hashem mentally, which is even a higher level of rest. Because the reason why working is work is because we have to leave godliness and go out to the world and toil, and it's sort of a little bit annoying. On Shabbos, you get the chance to reconnect to Hashem. So therefore, if people have to sit by the Shabbos table and talk about politics, obviously it's better than fighting and talking about. It's better to fight. Whenever you're getting that tense mode, talk about someone else fighting because it's somewhere close as you can get sidetracked. But better if you talk about godliness and Torah mitzvahs and love of a fellow Jew. Everyone have a great night.
Can you listen audio?